Let me give y'all a lesson in casual racism real quick. But you know what? I'm sitting here laughing because I just watched Vince Russo's podcast with EC3 and Dr. Chris. And while they were talking, when I tell you these fucking men transformed into some fucking gremlins and Uncle Ruckus, I just Vince Russo, the way he just dismissed and then displayed some of the most casual and inflammatory racism is something to be studied. It is something to behold. And it's very indicative of essentially wrestling fans. And it makes sense because he was writing for WWE during a time where this type of shit was, let's just do it and then we'll just deal with the consequences later. For white males between 18 and 35, Vince Russo is that guy. That's why he's like, bro, I don't understand anything. He sat up there and looked like fucking George from the Gremlins, the new batch. And EC3, when I tell you, he looked just like fucking Daffy. After they had got fucked up real bad and turned into that new batch of... when they was super cute and they got fucked up real bad and turned into the new batch of gremlins. Oh my god, he looked just like Daffy. I cannot... I'm sorry, I'm trying to get myself together. Then I'm looking at the other one that's just like, well, you know, we can't dismiss what's going on. He looked like Mohawk. But the version before he transformed into that nasty one. Since he's so, you know, well, the thing is, in my day, you know, me being black, we used to do the dozens. And when we did the dozens, and then you got fucking George talking about, yeah, because I was getting called a guinea wop when I was growing up, and it wasn't no big deal. I'm sorry. You were getting called a guinea wop, and it wasn't a big deal? To what New Yorker do you know that's Italian, walks around, and doesn't mind being called a guinea? I grew up in New York City. Ran into a whole lot of Italians, although a majority of them stayed out in Staten Island and Rhode Island, stuff like that. Call one of them motherfuckers a guinea and see what happens. Or refer to them as the mob and all the stereotypes you can give them. And you think they're going to be like, yeah, that's a good idea, yeah, mama, me. You think they like that shit? No, they dismiss it because some of them don't want to rock the boat. But some of them want to cut loose. Now, it's funny he said that because there's a character in NXT called Tony D'Angelo, who's leaning into this whole mob boss, I'm Italian. How is that going to translate on NXT, on the main roster? I don't fucking know. I have no fucking idea. He even wears suspenders like he Al Capone. So it's very bizarre, but I will say Tony D'Angelo is more tasteful with it, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I don't even fucking know no more. So I'm listening to these guys on their podcast, and Vince Russo is so fucking ungenuine and unserious that you can't help but laugh at this fucking idiot. I can't tell the difference, bro, between the Japanese and the Chinese when they talking. I can't tell the difference, and a lot of people can't, so I don't understand why that's a big deal. Why is that a big deal? What's the problem, bro? You know, I can't tell the difference between an Irishman and a Scottishman, bro. What's the big damn deal? What's the big ass deal, bro? When they went to Clash of the Castle in Scotland, did y'all see how proud Drew McIntyre was and all the people that got to wrestle in their home countries? You see how proud they are of their culture that they get to put on display and share it? You see how proud they are? When Rhea Ripley gets a whole PLE designed for her because they were going to Australia, do you see how she wanted to immerse you into her culture of Australia? Did y'all see how proud she was? Yeah, that's essentially culture. on display when you have it. But when you whitewashed and dipping and dabbing in that white superiority bullshit that fucking EC3 aka Daffy likes to do. Yeah, I'm running a wrestling situation called, tell your own story. Tell your own story because I got a story to tell. You ain't got a story to tell. What you do got is a cold. And you got a fucking fetish for Asian girls. That's what you got. Let me tell you what this motherfucker gonna say. In this type of conversation, let me tell you what he gonna say. So here's Daphne. So, bro, I know this is controversial, but I'm gonna say it. Now, this is Vince Russo's thing, right? He gonna lean into that. Now, he leaning in. You thought Vince Russo was about to come out the goddamn screen. Okay, bro, so I think that Chinese girls and Japanese girls, between the two, Japanese girls got softer features. That's how I know the difference. Vince Russo's like, wait a minute, pause. I want you to give me more of that information. You know why? Because Vince Russo knows what the fuck he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. That guy is so fucking disingenuous, it's a joke. He linked in knowing exactly the shit that he's about to play into. Because this is the guy that wrote the shit. But South Koreans, they have my heart. Because, sir, you have a fetish. And you don't get no pussy. And we all know that. Daffy doesn't get no pussy. He looks like a fucking drawn up onion. Okay? He ain't fucking nothing. He's watching hentai and playing them fucking video games where the Asian girls look like they in school, but they titties is busting loose. That's where the fuck he's at. Okay? And then here comes fucking George. Oh, so is Korea a different language? Those are three completely different fucking countries. How in the world was he a writer and don't even know basic geography? Are you fucking kidding? When I tell you disingenuous, this whole conversation, it's absolutely embarrassing for, I have to say, for so-called educated wrestling fans, or these three men are supposed to be educated. And here comes fucking, what's that, that gremlin, Mohawk. Here come Mohawk talking about, well, it's three different countries, guys, So Vince Russo, George, he said, well, you don't know. You're not insulting anybody. You don't know. And that is the definition, guys, of casual racism. Making casually racist jokes or comments can have a negative impact upon a targeted individual or group. Casual racism can fuel prejudice and discrimination. That's it. And is that so hard? Research on this demonstrates that racism can have adverse effects on people's physical and mental health. You can watch any Dark Side of the Ring, and if it's a black subject of Dark Side of the Ring, that motherfucker is experiencing some racism for that ass. Watch Junkyard Dog's Dark Side of the Ring. Watch it. Any black wrestler that has an expose, racism is going to be a part of it. Especially in pro wrestling. Okay? Then the comment of, oh bro, these people wouldn't be able to live during my time, bro. They wouldn't be able to live because, I was called a guinea wop and, and here come fucking Mohawk. Yeah, well, in my day, I grew up poor in the ghetto. And then fucking George is like, yeah, because do the right thing, right? You grew up like do the right thing. What? Like, is it the fucking Twilight Zone? And he's like, well, yeah, I'm doing the dozens with people that look like me. I'm not sitting there talking about lynching, fucking, well, y'all use the N-word so damn casually. I don't even know. But when I grew up, we would just be roasting your head, you nappy head, whatever. You ain't got no your shoes. Look at you, they leaning. Like, I know what the dozens is. Or we used to call it snapping when I was growing up. Okay? I can't believe Vince Russo would sit around with his Italian friends and call each other wops and guineas. I'm just not believing that. Now, do you think Vince Russo would be cool if we put those words in a song? Do you think fucking Daffy would be cool if we just start calling him a Peckerwood? and a fucking honky. Like, what are y'all talking about? Now, if you watch something like The Jeffersons, All in the Family, those shows from the 70s where they did use those terms, the reason why the shit was funny was something called context. Context. Carlito's just simply saying, I gotta learn Chinese. When these are two Japanese women that we all know is Japanese. So Carlito's the only person in the WWE that doesn't know that these women are Japanese and just says the shit out of nowhere with no fucking context. The shit's not funny. Io Shirai, when she was an NXT, an audience member, a white male, told her to go back to China. And she said, I'm Japanese, bitch. And that was an issue then. That was like 3 years ago. It was an issue then. And y'all said the same shit. Oh, man, ain't no big deal. Oh, man, ain't no big deal. Mustafa Ali refused to play the quintessential scary Saudi Arabian because he's Muslim. He didn't want to do that. And he didn't do it. He stuck to his laurels. Okay? I'm actually shocked Xia Li didn't end up being the big, scary, red machine that is China. Because she would basically probably be the top heel in the WWE right now, women's division, had she leaned into that shit. She wanted to come from a different culture, different part of her culture in China. I want to show you the good parts of it. There's a lot of good parts of China. When I watch Korean shows and stuff, they don't show you negative shit. Now, they love talking about the Joseon. Now, I'm assuming this is like a very huge dynasty that ran Korea for a long time because they love talking about the Joseon. But I love those Korean films. Oh, my goodness. Under the Queen's Umbrella, chef's kiss. Oh, I could rewatch that multiple times simply for the costuming and the culture that's on display. Do you think a Korean wants you to call them Chinese all day? I don't understand. When TikTok was on trial and the creator was in front of our racist old ass Congress, everybody understood where the racism was because the man kept saying, so you're Chinese? He was like, no, I'm Singaporean. He was like, yes, so you're from China? No, I'm from Korea. Okay, so your app is Chinese. No, I'm from Singapore. I am Singapore. That's in Korea. So let me get this straight. You're Chinese from Shanghai. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We don't know Vietnamese. Here come fucking George. So what do Vietnamese speak? What do they speak in Vietnamese? And what's his name? The other one, Mohawk, was like, well, that's a different country. It's a different country. There's a lot of different countries with different languages in the world. And, well, listen, bro, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to say, like, it's not, I don't see the malice. I can't tell the difference between anybody. And I'm not trying to be hateful or anything. That's why you ask. You ask. Where are you from? And even that turns into violence because the person don't fucking believe you. Especially if you're black. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from the Bronx. No. Where are you from? Okay, from the Bronx, New York. No. Where are you from? The United States of America. No. Where are your grandparents from? They're from Georgia and Virginia specifically. No. Where are your grandparents from? Okay, well, a lot of them lived in Georgia and a lot of them moved over to Florida. No. Where is grandparents from? Okay, well, they started in Virginia. And no. Like, culturally, I'm American and I'm African American culturally. No. Okay, you want me to give you an African country? Ghana. Oh, okay, yeah. That's literally the conversation I've had multiple times. You erased all of the culture that I have because you can't believe that I'm American and I'm just black in America. And I have no direct connection to Africa outside of the transatlantic slave trade. Casual racism, folks. It was on display and Vince Russo was disgusting. It was terrible. It was sad. And it's very indicative of the American audience. is very indicative of the shit that we got going on. Somebody only outside of me and one other person, this person said it's about respect. And then this person says wrestling is about having fun, lighten up. And they said, and I think this is the beautiful way to end this. Well, I'm going to try to. You're the modern day racist and don't realize it. Too busy telling everyone to loosen up. Back in the 60s, you'd have been the type to say, black folks don't need to dine with us. We can both eat our own separate spots. Stop forcing this on us. And they're right. It wasn't the issue of dining with you. It was the issue of you have this beautiful restaurant and you want me to dine in the back on a fucking soapbox with two styrofoam plates around some dog shit simply because I'm black. That was the whole thing. But a lot of y'all don't care about that. A lot of y'all don't care about that. Vince Russo, I said that we're going to end it, and I'm going to end it. Vince Russo claims he's a journalist, claims he's so well-versed, and you can't even take the time to understand people's culture, you fucking asshole. Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Everything is so trivialized and y'all done linked into that quote language of whoa, it's woke mob. You took a positive word and destroyed it. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. To be a wrestling fan of color is a battle. Because this right here is a complete fucking turnoff. If I was new to this, I said, well, let me see what they're talking about. I would be completely fucking turned off to even wanting to watch it. That's why I didn't watch fucking SmackDown. I had no desire to watch SmackDown for the first time in a long time. None. EC3 sits up there looking like goddamn Daffy and dismisses the ring boy controversy. These people, the ring boy thing is a thing everybody knew. They already came out and said we were molested and we were touched on and all this type of stuff. And in some cases R-worded. This motherfucker just dismissed it. It's like the ring boy thing all over again. But I can't. EC3 is already wrapped up in all kind of sexual assault controversy, all kinds of shit. I might have to lean into EC3 because something's fucking really wrong with this guy. Something's wrong with him. Outside of him looking like a drawn up onion. So let me tell you how disingenuous George is, Vince Russo, and then I'm going to wrap it up because this is just going to be, I'm going to make sure I put rant so we understand. A majority of people on this, somebody literally asked on Reddit, okay? And what is your reaction to be called a Goomba or a Guinea? Majority of people said, oh, well, we about to fight. Some said at school it was the worst. There was only 2 Italian people in my entire class, and one of them, I'm the Neapolitan with a bit of Sicilian. I've been told, I bet you related to the mafia. And one time I said, that's how they eat pizza in Naples. And some said, whatever wapalicious. Like, I've been called Guinea before, but I never really cared. Sometimes I think it's funny, but other times it's annoying, and I don't really have a reaction. Somebody said, call me a Guinea or a Wop and get knocked out and drilled into the floor. Let me say this, and I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. When Italians came to America, they got treated essentially like the African Americans in America. Until they decided to lay down the connection and direct connection to their culture from Italy and step into what is called whiteness. And this is all studied, folks. I'm not making this shit up. Whiteness is a living, breathing thing. It is an entity that takes all of the nuance, all of the beautiful and the vibrant color from things and make it one bland beige color, right? Once the Italians said, okay, we'll be white, they were no longer abused. It happened to the Irish. Why do you think they call it a paddy wagon? Look it up. Okay? It happened to the Polish people. It happened to everybody that comes to America. They get assimilated into American racism. And then they're comfortable. They get their stripes and then they can move on. Because there's only one group of people who can't assimilate to American whiteness, and that's African Americans and people of color. So again, to lean into this type of stuff, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. It's disgusting. It's scary, and essentially, Don't play into it and stop dismissing people's feelings if you're being disrespectful. You know you are. Even if you're not coming from a racist intention, it still opens up and plays into a culture of hate. Stop it. I'm leaving right here because I go on and on and on. But these three, just embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Tell me what y'all think.